Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen and the weather outside, it's not too sunny in sunny Salford. It's actually raining. So if you've got your parkers, make sure you've got your hoods up. A couple of big stories doing the rounds that we'll get into. Before we get into all that, though, make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I want to get to 750,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And with your support, yes, we can get there. For a lot of new subscribers lately, and we do appreciate your support. We've also had a lot of new members too. Extra content on the members section. Big thanks for that. Right. First of all, let's talk about my favourite topic ever, Kobbie Mainoo. He got his call up to the England squad. Rightly so, in my opinion. I think if you look at the performances he's put in, the ability he's got, the talent he's got, the role that he can play in that team, then the rivals for those England spots, then he's right to get called up. So I was glad to see him get called up to the England team, to the England squad, by Gareth Southgate. I think it's the right move. Kobbie Mainoo, he's just had a fantastic season since he came back from that injury he picked up in Houston against Real Madrid. Now, some people may look at it and go, is it a bit soon? He's only 18. He's still only played less than half a season for Manchester United. Should we be rushing him, or should Gareth Southgate be rushing him into the England setup? I don't think it's rushing him. I think this is a kid who is ready. I think if you look at the way he plays, the maturity that he shows, he's not going to be fazed by playing for England at all. I was saying this on the Paddock podcast the other day. I think playing for Manchester United regularly is a bigger stage than playing for England. I do. I think if you can play for Manchester United and you can play well, then you have got no issue around playing for England. I think Manchester United, the size of the club, the fan base we've got, the expectation, even though we've been struggling, that we've got, and the teams that you're up against and all that sort of considerations makes it a sort of more daunting prospect, if you will, to play for that club and to play for that team and to become a regular for that team. And he's done it. So can he get into the England squad, or is he ready for the England squad, I should say? Yes, 100%. I'd probably put him in the team. I think he's that good. And I think it depends how you play, but if you're going to have a double pivot with Declan Rice or someone else, then for me, Kobbie Mainoo has got to go in there. I think it's only right that he's in the squad. We've seen it with other young players, haven't we? Where at the age of 17, 18, 19, whatever, they've shown that level of ability and maturity to get international call-ups. And I think Kobbie Mainoo is one of the most mature 18-year-old players I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen an 18-year-old come into this Manchester United midfield the way that Kobbie Mainoo has. I think even if you look at the class of 92, other than Giggs, I think most of the class of 92 were 20 when they got into the team. And I think when they were brought in, it was gradually. It wasn't like you're in the team every game, which is what's happened with Kobbie Mainoo. So I think this is a positive move by Gareth Southgate. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let me know what you think. We all love Kobbie Mainoo, don't we? I don't think anyone's going to say he's not good enough. But there will be a lot of United fans, and I get it, who are I don't want him having sort of his trajectory ruined by pushing him too much too soon and giving him too many games, or getting involved in that whole England circus. We know how Manchester United players get treated by England fans at times, but I think he can handle all that. And I think ultimately, if you're Gareth Southgate and you want to win football matches, do you need Kobbie Mainoo, or is Kobbie Mainoo going to give you a better chance of winning a football match? Yeah, he is. I firmly believe that. Get him in now, get him some minutes under his belt, get him a cap, and then get him in the squad for the Euros. That's what I'd like to see. Let's talk about Gareth Southgate, because there's a few stories doing the rounds. I think this has come from the Star, but it's been picked up everywhere else, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has reportedly made Gareth Southgate his first choice to replace the vulnerable Erik ten Hag. A bombshell report, I'm reading this from the Mirror, but it comes from the Star. From the Star, claims that Ratcliffe has settled on the current England boss after consulting a number of Red Devils legends. Southgate contract ends with England, expires this December, although a decision on his future is expected to be made in June or July due to this summer's European Championships. It's added that the FA have offered the 53-year-old a new deal, but Southgate has been reluctant to commit his future to international football. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. First of all, we don't know how true this is. The Star aren't someone I'd say always get it right and are tier one, ultra reliable. And I think if you can see this in other newspapers, the Mirror, the Mail, or wherever, they're picking it up from that original one, from what I can gather. I think Sky are in it as well. So I'm a little bit skeptical as to the validity of this story. Whether I'd have Gareth Southgate or not is another story, is another issue, and I wouldn't. I think if you're giving me a choice of Erik ten Hag or Gareth Southgate, I'll choose Erik ten Hag every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. I think Erik ten Hag had a very good first season at Manchester United. He's having a bit of a tricky one this season. There's no denying that, but still shown signs, and we're still in with a good, very, very good chance of getting to an FA Cup final, and still in with a shout of making Champions League football. And look at what he did. Ajax, he did very well there. If you look at Gareth Southgate and what he's done in his career at Middlesbrough, he got him relegated and he got sacked. He went to England almost he got the job on a technicality, but he kind of did, and Sam Allardyce was sacked because of non-football issues. Southgate comes in, I think, after his work with the under-21s, and then his caretaker, then he's given a job permanently. Now, in tournaments, he's done well. Semi-final, final, quarter-final. But when he's been up against it, in that semi-final against Croatia in the World Cup in 2018, the game was there for the taking. And for me, Southgate was found wanting. In the final in the Euros, when the game was there for the taking against Italy, both those games we took the lead, don't forget. Southgate was found wanting. In the game against France, the quarter-final of the World Cup that's just gone, you know what I mean? Again, he fell short, Southgate. Some of his tactics didn't make any sense. Taking off Saka, giving Marcus 5 minutes, playing Sterling, who'd not trained. Silly mistakes that you don't get at the top level. You shouldn't get at the top level if you want to win trophies. And this is international football as well. It's completely different from club football. So he's not got any pedigree in club football. He's not got any pedigree in the Champions League. And for England, he's done a good job, but he's beaten pretty much every team I'd expect him to beat. If you look at those runs, I don't think England came up against anyone where you'd go, England aren't favourites to win that, until we got to the Croatias, the Italys, and the Frances. That World Cup run that got us to the semi-final in 2018, I think it was like Panama, Tunisia, Colombia, who were missing some key players, Sweden, I think it was, all winnable games. In the Euros, you saw it as well. Yes, you had I think was it Croatia, Scotland, Germany is probably the best team he's beaten. And that was a poor German team. It wasn't a vintage German team by any stretch of the imagination. So I've not seen enough from Southgate to think he's been that amazing as an international manager and as England manager that I want him at Manchester United. And I certainly don't think he's a better option than Erik ten Hag. I'd like to see Erik ten Hag being given another season. But if he isn't, Gareth Southgate won't be top of my list. I'd rather have someone like De Zerbi than Gareth Southgate. I'd rather have a Thomas Tuchel than Gareth Southgate because I think they've at least got a pedigree in club football. De Zerbi's done good things in the Premier League. Gareth Southgate ain't. Thomas Tuchel's won a Champions League and been to another Champions League final. Gareth Southgate ain't. And I don't know if he'd be able to. So it's not for me, Gareth Southgate to Manchester United. You may feel differently. What worries me about this is, I don't know if it's true or not, is if he has a good tournament with England. If England do well in the Euros, then that might strengthen the case for him to come to Old Trafford. But I just don't think he's the right man for the job. And even if England do well in the Euros, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to say, well, Gareth Southgate's the right man to manage Manchester United Football Club, because I don't think he is. Let me know what you think. We're going to be back later on tonight with Paddock Live. It's going to be myself and Joe Smith. I think it's going to be around 9:30 tonight. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. You don't want to miss out on that. Also, if you've not gone and seen it already, we've got the interview with Mike McGrath from The Telegraph that we did yesterday. That's up on the channel. He speaks about INEOS. He speaks about Jim Ratcliffe. He speaks about potential successors to Erik ten Hag and potential targets in the transfer window as well. So worth checking that out. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk from a rainy Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.